Welcome to another week of Dragon Calamity. I hope you all know what I'm about to say because it is absolutely going to be asking you all how you are and for a random fun fact about your character. So, with us this week, I'm going to start off with Kyo because I don't think I've started off with you. Hello, how are you? And can we have a random fact about Kaylin, please?
We're doing pretty well. We're gonna go to the Renfest again this weekend because I'm stupid.
Nice.
And a Kaylin fun fact. I don't know if I actually said this one or not because I remember I was thinking about it. Kaylin actually has no idea where the hell her sword came from. It just kind of showed up one day.
I don't remember if you told us that.
I don't think I said that before, but it's like, no, yeah, 100%. Kaylin has no idea where her sword came from. It just kind of showed up.
I mean, I knew that, but I have your backstory.
Well, yeah.
So, hi, Soul, how are you? And can we please have a random fact about Zeroka?
Sure. I'm doing good. And a random fact about a Zeroka is he will flip a coin to determine certain situations, like last time, whether or not he should either kill a person or let them live.
Nice. I mean, that's a good way to decide, I guess. If you don't want that on your conscience, then you can blame the coin, but it is what it is. Ian, hello, how are you? Ian, can we have a fun fact about Xander?
I am doing well. I appreciate you asking. And fun fact about Xander. All the adventuring he's done over the years, and he's never broken a bone. Well, he's broken other people's bones, but not his own bones.
That is a fun fact. And last but certainly not least, Sandy. Hi, hello, how are you? And could we please have a fun Ms. fact? I always love Mrs. facts. And everyone
Hello.
else's, but
I'm doing good so far. Can't complain. I guess a fun random fact about Miz is that he likes board games. He is a big fan of chess. He's a big fan of card games. You wouldn't really tell by the way he acts, but he actually is a fan of board games. So if you catch him at the bar or a tavern, he might be playing something and drinking.
I like that. That is so random, and I dig it. All right. Who wants to give a little bit of a recap? Someone start us off with a couple sentences of recap.
Kaylin stabbed that bitch and actually got a natural 20 to take her out. The Lamia last week. Hogtied the girlfriend because girlfriend was acting kind of crazy and stuff.
Sometimes you just gotta hogtie your girlfriend.
Sometimes you just gotta hogtie that bitch. And is now contemplating whether or not she's gonna stab Mr. Stabby, as one does.
You've become what you swore to destroy.
I don't know if she ever swore to destroy him before this, though. All right, someone else hit us with a couple sentences.
You lied to me.
Xander chained up the Lamia and was using the chain to like guide it slightly to help, his friends kill it. That was fun. And he also, the most important thing about last game, out of everything that happened, the most important thing out of last game, Xander found a stick. And it is the most important stick that you will ever see, and none of y'all ever better even fucking look at it. Nevertheless, touch it, or we'll have problems.
I did send you the details for that, right?
I think so. Let me see.
The sticky stick?
Let me see here.
Tell me I sent that to you. Oh, my Discord.
So what I just heard is we must all specifically target this stick for various shenanigans just to see what happens.
I don't see it in our message history.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to find that and send it. I will figure it out. I will find out where it was. I was so sure I sent that. My apologies. Someone else hit me with some more recap.
Well, it seems that we spent most of the last session, fighting my old master, a witch, I guess, a woman, and she's able to control people that we care about. That Miz is okay with killing, even people he cares about. um, yeah, I would say Miz was pretty much just in locked in combat with his old master trying to attack, pretty much. And then he took one swipe at Kaylin's girlfriend.
He sure did. He said, a mind-controlled bitch. I'm still gonna swing at her.
One, there was two there, good sir.
He's like, she swung at me and hit me. Well, I guess I have to stab her now.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, that's kind of it on Miz's part for now.
All right. So we'll wrap us up with the last little bit, because I know stuff was going on with Zeroka off to the side a little bit.
Besides Zeroka seeing that Xander's friend was also mind controlled, he did flip on the die to see whether or not he would need to take her out because she was attacking Nibbles. And Zeroka saw that as a threat. However, he did flip on the dice to let her live. So he knocked her out. Other than that, he walked back in and he saw the look Miz was given, and so he looked at Miz and said, "Are we done?" And that's when he saw Miz getting ready to attack a tied up woman.
Yep.
I think we all agree that he was just shitting with that one.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't actually going to do it because we're about to start PvP, and that's not nobody wants to start PvP.
Where was he kidding?
We decided to retcon
for the sake of party cohesion. For the sake of party cohesion, we've elected that no, he was kidding.
Yeah, we had to get a little bit meta with that. We're like, maybe not.
Evil little murder gremlin, like God.
A lot murder gremlin with that. So we pick back up with Lila KO'd, Aitha restrained, the Lamia dead, Xander holding a cursed stick who knows it's cursed because I believe Kaylin said something about it. Because I think she had the detect magic going on it. Or something.
I don't. Has it been mentioned yet that it's cursed? I don't know.
I thought you
did.
Kaylin would not have no, because it was after combat. Aitha was already tied up, and she did have detect magic up. So she's like, "Yeah, no, that's probably cursed, dude." But it's like
you're cursed.
But in the course of looking at it, she probably triggered that response and was just like, "All right, all right."
It's probably fine. I sent the description over to Ian. So,
I got it.
Yeah, it's fun, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's got some benefits.
It has some benefits. Another player from the previous campaign, the third iteration of this, actually helped me come up with this specifically for, I think some of you know Ryan, knowing exactly that his character would absolutely open a pristine chest in an otherwise trashed treasure room, which he did, for the record. So it's
that was about to be
fun.
My next question.
Yes, no, he absolutely did. Which was very fun because it was immediately noticed by one of the NPCs, and he immediately was like, "Don't touch my stick," and it was hilarious.
So that means that I need to bring him a stick for con then, right?
It is. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But yes. So with that, we resume. Zeroka is in the room with Kamas, who's been kind of hobbling around. Nibbles, who is now kind of hurt. Lila's unconscious over there. And then in this other room, there is this big old dragon-looking egg in the center of everything. I believe some of you actually, well, I think we didn't move all the tokens. Some of you kind of wandered around and were digging through stuff, and I'm going to once you get back to town, you have a chance to kind of look through stuff because some of the coins were kind of fake looking. I'm going to let you know how much you found and what fun specific items everyone gets. Because I decided to, instead of making it like a free-for-all and risking one person getting multiple cool items, I'm just going to tell you what you all got. For funsies, to make it fair. But for now, as we're kind of picking back up with that, everyone's picked through everything that they feel satisfied with doing. What does everyone want to do at this moment? Also, you see Jess pulling out what look like clay balls covered in runes from her bag of holding, and she's just kind of taking them out and setting them on the floor for now.
Xander is still like walking around, like checking stuff out, but he is like cradling that stick as he does so.
Kaylin just glances over it with glowing eyes and is just like, you know what? I just need you to know that is probably a cursed item, but you have fun.
You're a cursed item.
That is exactly what my mother said. You are correct. Yes.
Miz is gonna, sheath his weapons and go over to Jess and talk to her and say, "Well, you wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you? My master fighting us."
Yeah, you did see him come over and attack me, right? Did it look like I was ready for that? Because I definitely was not expecting him to come out here and just start attacking.
Can I roll an insight check on that?
Yeah.
All right. 20.
Oh boy. Okay. I had to do a contested roll against that. Jess is a hard to read person. But you notice the language she's using is not. She did not just straight up say no. She was more skirting around that answer more than anything else. You get the idea that there might have been some sort of inkling there, but it's really hard to tell with her. But you were expecting if she was being 100% truthful, a simple no would have sufficed. I will give you that.
Okay. Miz just looks at her and says, "Okay. Well, if you hear anything about this, please let me know." And I just nod my head and I start to walk to these steps over here.
Hold on, before you go. And she picks up a couple of the clay balls and holds them out for him to take. Take these, go back into that dungeon area where the prisoners were earlier, and kind of just plant some of these around.
All right. Miz takes this bag of clay balls and they'll start to head to the prisoners' cells.
And don't drop them. Actually, be very gentle with them. It's in your best interest. Kaylin, you would notice Aitha, she is restrained, but she kind of glances over at Jess and sees what is being distributed, and she looks very worried.
Kayla just kind of pats her on the shoulder. I know things are probably about to go boom.
She does her best to kind of nod at you, but she is held in place by those ropes.
Kayla's just going to go. So, for the record, this is working out a lot better than I thought it would. That we get to take this for a test drive first. So,
what was Roka doing?
Nothing much. Just simply sitting and just watching the events unfold.
Jess is going to see you not doing anything and is going to hand you a handful of the clay balls. They're a little bit bigger. They're like the size of like a cantaloupe each. You see them covered in different magical runes. And they have a particular scent that you might have smelled before. They smell like black powder. And Jess is going to hand them to you and say, go distribute these somewhere. like down the hall or something. I kind of want them everywhere, really. So we're gonna do that, and then I'm gonna send you back to the sanctuary, or not back to the sanctuary, because you've never been there. But I'm gonna need you to take that egg to the sanctuary, and I'm gonna take care of Lila, Itha, and Thomas, and you can visit them later at the hospital. Right now, Jess is just handing more big clay balls to Zeroka to distribute, and has just told them she's gonna send you all to the dragon sanctuary with the dragon egg. Well, with that, who is grabbing the egg that you also see Frost? You know, like when you pull something fresh out of the freezer and it's got like that misty, frosty stuff coming off of it? That's what's going on with this egg. So who is risking frostbite and picking up the egg?
I would like to just do something just for a little fun, real quick.
Yeah.
Xander like goes over to try and pick it up and everything. But it's a fairly big egg, right? Like to carry
Yeah,
with
it's the
two
size
hands.
of like a small watermelon. Like not a small watermelon. A little bigger than a basketball, probably.
Probably need to carry it with two hands. I probably don't have to, but like just to be safe, carry it with two hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. Xander will go over to like start to pick it up, and will like keep trying to like adjust the stick in his hands to be able to keep it with both hands, and then be like, "I'll let one of y'all get it," and just turns around and walks off.
Kaylin will go over and just rub her hands really quickly to try to warm them up, and just goes, "This is a horrible idea," and goes to pick up the egg.
It is bitterly cold. It is like you have just pulled a giant ice cube out of the freezer that you are holding. The good news is you all already had cold weather gear on. This is not any kind of super extra cold that is going to eat through that in the next like 30 seconds or anything. But it is quite uncomfortable. Xander has the teleportation.
I do. Friends.
Mm-hmm.
Let us all hold hands. Well, hold one of my hands. Don't hold the other. I need that hand for stick.
You form a little bit of a human chain, and Jess tells you how to activate it, and I'm assuming you do.
What's real quick? What's going on with our friends who are currently hurt or incapacitated? Are they?
Right. So Jess had said that you can visit them later in the hospital. So some or most of you or all of you would know that there is kind of like a hospital-esque type building that the guild owns. It is a couple blocks away from guild headquarters. And it is closer to a recovery center than anything else for adventurers that just got the shit beat out of them on quests, and if you're poisoned, it's good to go there after your mission, etc., etc. So like, especially if all of the healers are unavailable, you can go there and get a little bit of healing, and if you need to just recover somewhere safe for a few days, you can go there.
Okay.
Magic fixes most things, but not everything, So that is where you will be able to find Lila and Itha later, and Kamas will also go there to get his leg fixed up, because he's still kind of hobbling around. He didn't get affected by the Lamia, so his wounds will probably be pretty much taken care of there, but who knows about Lila and Itha. But yeah.
Yeah, other than that, I will activate the teleporter.
You do that, and with a blue flash of light, you're almost blinded for a moment. And then your eyes adjust from the cold darkness of this cave to the bright afternoon sun and the warmth of the huge greenhouse that you find yourself in. It is like a massive glass dome with octagonal glass panes in it. You're hit with a wild variety of scents, mostly floral, that fill the air as you see colorful plants and flowers, some you've never even seen or heard of. in front of you is probably the oldest elven woman you have ever seen, holding a gnarled old walking stick, and she is sitting on an ornate stone bench in front of you like she has been waiting. Standing next to her is the much younger, in contrast, Lenora, who is holding a large empty basket lined with a blue blanket that's just a little bit bigger than the egg that you are holding. While the greenhouse itself is grand with cute little paths full of ornate plants, a few small trees, and many medicinal herbs, you're able to see outside the huge glass dome and the rest of the sanctuary. The greenhouse and the building it is attached to is at the elevated end of a large valley. About 100 yards away, there's a huge pond, just like you'd heard Jess promise to the baby dragons. There's a large barn, and you see what looks like a large but otherwise normal-looking house not too far from the greenhouse itself. You also see hiding, not so subtly, in one of the fountains near the door to the building that is attached to the greenhouse, both bronze dragons are peering curiously over the edge and watching you. Oh, I took you to the wrong map. Well, you got to see the full thing, but here's more zoomed in of just the greenhouse where you are. Also surrounding this huge valley are thickly wooded mountains, a few of which you would imagine would touch the clouds were it not such a clear, sunny day. And the old elven woman in front of you uses her walking staff to stand up with some effort and faces you all, but as she does, you see her eyes are almost milky white with cataracts, and she's looking more in your general direction than focusing on any one of you in particular, and you're not quite sure her eyes actually work. And she says, "Ah, it is good to finally meet you. My name is Missin, but everyone calls me Gran. You have already met my granddaughter, Lenora." And Lenora gives you all a warm smile and says, "It is good to see you again. What's everyone doing?"
Kaylin will promptly walk forward and be like, I have a gift for you. I found that it is very cold, and I'm assuming this is for me. And she just goes over with the egg and just kind of gently opens her hands and put it in the basket as she like tries to shake the frost off.
Yep, she takes it and kind of wraps it a little bit in the blanket and holds the basket. She says, "Don't worry, we have a cold box in the main house's kitchen, and we'll put it in there for now until it hatches. You are welcome to join us in the main house if you'd like. I made some snacks earlier."
Xander is like
Snacks are great.
just like looking around at this beautiful like garden, and then he looks from the garden to a stick, back to the garden, back to the stick. Is like, "No, I'm good. Just kind of like pets his stick as he like stops paying attention to everything else.
Kaylin will just lean over to Lenore and just go, I do believe he has picked up a cursed stick because he's been obsessed with it ever since.
Who mentioned my stick?
Lenora just very quietly leans back over to Kaylin as well and says, "Well, the good news is have any malicious intent. Otherwise, the wards would have, done something about that."
That is very convenient.
Hurts.
No one is asking. No one is talking about your stick.
I heard stick and malicious intent.
What is it?
Who's wanting to hurt my stick?
What is it? What is it with men and their obsession with sticks? God.
I'm talking about my stick.
Well, well, we don't get
No
that
one
many
is
men
talking
around
about
here,
your
so I'm
stick.
not sure.
Believe me, your life is better off without them.
I'm sure. And you see the little bronze dragons jumping out of the fountain, and they heard a different word, and that word was snacks. And the first one gets up closer to Lenora and Kaylin and says, "Snacks? Is it snack time? Is it snack time already?" Lenora just pets them on the head and says, "Of course. Snack time for everyone. I know you are excited, but try not to trip anyone."
Have we met these before?
Mango and pineapple!
It's been a minute. Because we've actually saved a. It's been a minute.
Okay, I'm just gonna be like, "Hello, my friends. Good to see y'all again."
He's got a stick.
Don't tell me about my stick. My stick.
But
Mango walks up to you and kind of sits on the back legs, kind of trying to sniff at your stick, and says, "You're dressed different this time. You're not as shiny."
Oh no, this time I'm in a more acceptable form to most people.
I like the shiny outfit better.
Xander snaps his fingers immediately, is back in that other outfit.
Well, see, now you're just showing that you're a liar.
I'm not showing that I'm a liar. I'm just saying I can just swap between forms easily.
And Mango looks over at Zeroka and kind of scrunches her nose and says, "You're the scary one."
Zeroka just looks at it, doesn't say anything back.
Pineapple kind of sticks his little tongue out at Zeroka and darts out the door, heading towards the main house and to where the snacks are. Lenora starts to also make her way out, and Gran, with much effort, begins to do that very old person shuffle using her walking stick, and also starts to slowly make her way to the house.
I have a gift for this.
Oh, Kaylin will go over to Gran, and be like, Gran, would you mind terribly if I escorted you over? Would you mind terribly if I escorted you over to the house? And she just kind of holds one of her arms out, just like, if you want to take it, you can, but she's not going to be like offended if she says no.
Yeah, she takes your arm and says, "Well, thank you, dear. It's nice to know that there are still young people with good manners out there. I was worried the rest of the world was turning into people like Jess." She very gratefully accepts your assistance.
I do believe my mother would kill me herself if I did not. She's what was it? There's nothing stopping you from being nice, from being polite to other people besides stupidity, or something to that effect. So it is in fact my pleasure to assist you in this.
Well, that is very sweet of you. But I don't know if I caught everyone's names.
Stick boy over there is Xander. Quietly broody. Stick boy is Xander. Quietly broody number 1 is Zoroka, and the one quietly broody number 2 with the cowl with the thing over his head is Miz. And I am Kaylin. We are the Stab Brigade.
For better or for worse, we are.
Yeah.
Usually worse.
Finally found
It's not our fault that for the most part we're all very good at murder, and we are not built for diplomacy, and yet that is what we have to do sometimes.
Gran kind of turns and faces each one of you in turn. You do not see her eyes specifically focus. You're still not sure how much, if anything, she can actually see. And she says, "Well, it's good to more or less put names to faces. Just try not to stab anything or anyone while you are here. We have a very strict no violence policy that I will be enforcing if I have to."
Yep.
And she kind of gives you that like grandmotherly look of "I'm serious." And you get the impression that you're not sure what she would do about it, but it's probably a rule to be respected. So you all head into the house with Mango and Pineapple are kind of skirting around your feet. Lenora is doing her best to kind of shoo them ahead so that they do not trip up Gran on your way in. And I will move you over to the house map. It is a 2-story, it's kind of larger, but it's not flashy or fancy in any way. You see the porch of this house has multiple comfortable rocking chairs with a few tiny side tables, perfect for tea. The windows behind the chairs that look into the living room, you're able to see through before you walk in that it's a very nice hardwood type place. There's a large, comfy looking sofa in the living room. As you go into the front door, There are fluffy blankets draped over the sofa. There's a coffee table and 2 very comfortable looking armchairs to relax in. Beyond the living room to the back left is the large open kitchen with a big sturdy kitchen table that has 8 chairs at it. To your right, there are stairs leading up to the second floor, and there's a hallway that leads to some closed doors that you imagine are probably bedrooms. Besides that, it is decorated very simply with some bookshelves containing very old looking books, some simple paintings of scenery of the sanctuary, and there is a vase with some fresh cut flowers on the coffee table. You also almost immediately smell the faint scent of saffron and incense, but it is very pleasant and not overpowering. That seems to have seeped into the house over time because you don't see any incense burners out at the moment. And that intermingles with the scent of fresh ocean breeze that the bronze dragons bring in with them because every single dragon smells different, as a side note. You also see, let me move him a little bit, lying on a big fluffy blanket on the sofa, the little baby black dragon that you helped rescue. It still looks kind of thin since it hasn't been that long since his rescue, but a lot better than it did
Since
before.
when has his name been Frole?
Oh, I
Hey,
didn't realize you
Frijole.
could see the name tag. The previous party named him Freehole.
Oh no, that's fine.
Nice.
I want him that to be his name now.
You it can be Frihole still if you want. They had a fun time naming all of the other dragons except for Mango and Pineapple. I had to name. So the little baby black dragon kind of lifts up its head and blinks very sleepily at you. It looks like it has just woken up from a nap. And it's just watching you. It's not saying anything. Just watching. And in the kitchen, Lenora has a few big plates of fruit, and there are sandwiches set out, along with a big pitcher of cold water and glasses for everyone. And she is also setting out a fresh pot of tea. You also see at the other end of the table is a large wooden box with an open lid that is filled with blankets, and Lenora gently sets the egg into it. You see Gran slowly wanders over to the table and pours herself a glass of water. Kind of sits at the head of the table where it looks like she belongs there. And Lenora gives you all a big smile and motions to the food and says, "Well, it's nothing fancy, but we didn't have that much notice, so please help yourself."
They're still got his stick cradled in one arm.
Thanks,
And it's just
Gran.
like, "Sure, thank you very much."
Well, it is very nice to have new people. I'm assuming you all have at least a little bit of time to sit and visit, because I would like to know about the people that I am allowing into my sanctuary.
Sorry. Yes, of course.
Huh?
And actually, I'm happy to be able to visit here. I'm very interested in learning more about the sanctuary.
Well, would you like to start?
Sure. I am, as said earlier, I am Xander Leon. I am adventuring for
The
some
stick
time
man.
now, huh? What? Stickman? Stickman, yes. I do have a fascinating stick. Please don't look at it. Secondly, I've been adventuring for a while and working with the guild for a while. And I have always had huge fascination with dragons and everything. So I am very. As soon as we got the first, mission to go help, Frole was the first one we saved, right?
Correct.
No, I thought they were green
That's
ones.
what green
No,
ones,
you
green
saved
ones,
the green
yes.
dragons first. The green ones, but you have not noticed them yet.
Okay, well.
If they are around, you have not seen them.
Okay, well, he will. He'll mention that. He's like, I was super excited to when we first got the mission to go help the green dragons, and have been excited to help ever since. Speaking of, where are those little guys?
Oh, they're around here somewhere. They're not really the most social, of dragons. We're working on it. They've come pretty far, but, I think feral would be the word that I would use when they first got here, but we have been teaching them some manners. hunters.
That's good.
They do spend a lot of time around the barn, but if you bring out anything of value, they might be more willing to come out and speak with you because they will probably try to steal it.
I'll make sure not to take my stick around there, that's for sure.
No one wants your stick.
No, it's more than fine. It is a fascinating stick.
This is both the best and worst thing that you have ever given him.
Gran raises an eyebrow in Xander's general direction and says, "Is there something special about that cursed stick that you're holding in your hand?"
Stick's not cursed, it's precious. It's blessed. It's my precious.
Well, I mean, there's nothing particularly malicious about the curse that is upon it. It seems like it's kind of a silly curse, if we are being perfectly honest. But if you like it, then I'm not going to do anything about it. Doing magic takes a lot out of me these days.
Yes, I wouldn't want you to do any magic on this stick anyways. It's perfect. It's fantastic. He's like cradling the stick as if it were like a baby almost in one arm, and is like poking at it the way you would like kind of like play with like a baby. It is like
Man, he's obsessed with it.
Again, this is the best worst thing that you've ever done.
I mean, I didn't think he was going to be that obsessed with it.
Okay, this is the same dude who came up with Dragon Messiah. Yes.
Yeah. I reap what I sow.
You did.
I did this to myself. Right. Moving on from that stick. Okay. She motions to Ms. next, kind of more in his general direction. You have not seen her eyes specifically focus on a single person or thing this entire time. And she says, "And what about you? What did Kaylin call you? The other broody one?"
Ms. Oh. I was like, can he not speak?
Well, if I'm going to let you into my sanctuary, I would like to know at least a little bit about you. You don't
She's
have
talking
to
to you,
tell me
Miss.
your deepest secrets or anything.
Well, I am an adventurer for this guild with this fine group of people here, and we do quests for money.
You don't have to make it seem like we're pulling your teeth and torturing you to give a little information.
I don't like talking about myself.
Oh, come on now. You won't humor an old lady at the end of her life with at least something of interest.
He really wouldn't.
She kind of looks in Mrs. direction as she takes a very long sip of her tea.
Well, fine. If you must know, I used to be a bounty hunter before I came here.
Ah, that explains why Jess dislikes you so much. Interesting. And she faces Kaylin now and says, "I'm assuming it is similar with you, unless you are a cleric."
No, ma'am. I am a spellcaster, but I do not. I am not a cleric as such. Ms. used to be my partner once upon a time while we were guild members before he decided to take a swipe at my girlfriend.
Technically,
but
that's that doesn't count.
You did swipe. You did swipe at her regardless.
I know.
Like you didn't like coup de grace her while she was like her hands were tied, but you still 100%
actually
hit
imagine
her.
him saying that, him being like, "That was retconned. I didn't do that."
But I have been working with the guilds for a number of years. Jess and I believe we have potentially come to an understanding. But what would me being a cleric have to do with anything?
Well, generally, Jess doesn't tend to like many clerics besides Denmere, and never liked bounty hunters. has a little bit of a past with them, but that is not my story to tell. And she takes another long, exaggerated sip of her tea.
It's like, ooh, Gran wants to drop some tea.
Lenora kind of shakes her head and says, Gran, you... Let me fix you a snack. You don't have to give any information you don't want to, you know. I would like to hear about anything you want to share about yourself. You are bringing us dragons, and I would like to know the people doing us a favor by rescuing them. You play a very vital role in their lives.
Well,
She's kind of looking at all of you, anyone who's willing to talk.
No, and Kaylin is like, well, if you take away the stick, then it's probably not going to happen.
I had to take out the whole thing for a second. What's happening with my stick?
Oh my god. No, it's like, no, it's like, no one is talking about your stick. That's even
I have to keep a
worse.
firm grip on my stick at all
Just keeping his
times.
stick out.
Phrasing. You know what? Every single fucking time, phrasing. So we are going to oh no, it's like cool. So now whenever we do phrasing, we're gonna track that too. So that's a 1. We'll see where we are at the end of the game.
Lenora looks at Zeroka, and she just has a very warm smile on her face, and she says, and what about you? We really haven't heard anything about you. If you're willing to share, of course.
So Zeroka remains silent for a moment, and his gaze is sort of fixed on the woman as he considers her question. But then he starts to speak in a low and measured voice, and he does say, apologies, my past is of little consequence. I'm a man of action, not words. Knowing about me will not help us achieve our goals. What I would like to know, and excuse me if I'm being rude, what are the plans for these
What do you mean by plans? I mean, besides letting them stay here and be safe as they grow up, I don't really know if we have any specific plans for them.
So you mean to tell me that you really don't have any plans? They're to sit here and remain safe because... under whose orders?
That would be under my orders. I have been taking care of the sanctuary for close to 400 years now, and Lenora, as my granddaughter, will be taking over when I pass. Probably sometime this year, but you know, we're going to move on from that. But that is what the sanctuary has always been. It is a safe place for the dragons, and since these dragons have no family, no parents, or anyone else to really keep them safe, they are welcome to stay here, grow up. We will teach them how to be dragons, and if they decide to venture off on their own when they are fully grown and capable of protecting themselves, then that will be allowed, of course, but I'm not sure society will ever be ready for dragons to return again. While it was once the natural order of things for dragons to rule over everything, it has been quite some time since that happened, so I'm not sure they would be safe in the rest of the realms. She takes another long sip.
His mouth sort of moves to the side, and he says, I must ask, and what of the case of the red dragons, or any other dragon that you plan to keep that's dangerous, so to speak? Do you believe that they will get along with these?
Well, that will surely test the theory of nurture versus nature. So far, I don't know of any red dragons that have resurfaced, but as you can see, we are keeping the black dragon here, and we are teaching manners to the green dragons. Any other dragons that come into our care will be treated similarly. This is a safe place for dragons. We will not imprison them, not unless they make it absolutely necessary for the safety of the other dragons. We actually don't have anywhere to imprison.
It's not their safety I'm worried about. It's them. You don't believe that in the future they may think about causing an uprising or anything?
When they are grown, dragons will do what dragons will do, but we will do our best to teach them right from wrong and to be kind more than anything else. Lenora is an exceptional example of this. And if she is the one taking over raising them, then I believe that we could succeed with that experiment, even were a red dragon to come here.
Zeruga looks at the woman. Does she look human?
She is an elf, just like Gran.
So, you see his, eyebrow sort of furrows up a bit and looks to the side, and he says, "So I would assume our plan is just to keep bringing these things here, and hopefully they just come along willingly."
Well, that would be the best case scenario. I don't know if that will always be the case, but perhaps we will expand the sanctuary if you bring us a larger number of dragons, and especially as the dragons get older. But the sanctuary has always been a safe place for dragons, I believe, going back thousands of years now, and that will always be the case, at least as long as I am in charge of it. So I'm not that old, so another 500 years, I would hope.
See, he doesn't add anything else to the.
This conversation seems to be like the first real thing that has somewhat distracted Xander from his stick. Like he's still cradling it and kind of petting on it, but he is definitely paying attention to what people.
While there are dragons here, it will be very difficult for me to leave the sanctuary. Gran can only handle them to an extent. So we will be relying on you and Jess to bring us any dragons that are in need. I believe if there were any adult dragons out there, they would have been discovered and people would have heard about it. So I imagine if any others resurface or are discovered, they would probably be quite young, like the ones you have already found.
Allow me to do an insight check on the both of them.
Go ahead.
I want to see how sincere they are.
Right.
So do you want me to do 2 or 1?
Go ahead and do 2, and you can choose which one.
May I roll as well?
Oh, that's definitely 1.
Yeah, everyone
say,
go ahead.
A 1 and a 20.
Anyone who
A
wants.
1 and a 20.
Oh no! A natural 1 and a natural 20. Oh no! Okay.
Wow.
Rolls are not showing up
Well,
on roll 20. 17 and an 11. Do the 17 towards
Okay.
Gran, 11 towards.
Okay.
Kaylin is going to do her 24 to Lenora and a 16
I'm going to
to Gran.
say that 1 is definitely going to go to the younger elf.
Mhm.
He's, I don't know what she looks like. I don't know if she's like super, if Zerok will be like enamored by her beauty or something like that. Like, I don't know. She calls it distraction. That's it. That's what that 1 is for.
Lenora is very pretty. She
Okay,
has
that's what that
very
one.
kind green eyes that kind of just draw you in when she smiles, and she's had at least a small smile on her face the whole time. It's just one of those very kind-hearted smiles that reaches the corners of her eyes, and you can tell that she really means it. And there's just a gentle way that she moves, and her posture is very non-threatening but confident. She looks like the kind of person that you would hand a small child over to if you ever found one in need. Basically.
Yeah, and Zeroka definitely rolled that 1 on that one.
Yeah.
However, the crit, he's definitely gazing the old woman as.
Gran is much harder to read. She is fucking ancient. A lot of her wrinkles kind of soften any expressions that she makes, and she takes a lot of very long sips of her tea that kind of hide her face, but everything that she's saying it in enough of a matter of fact way and with confidence. She seems to know what she's talking about. She seems to be totally honest with you, and you've not detected any dishonesty in anything that she's saying.
I will ask her one thing. Zeroka, you see his like jaw sort of clenches and he does, puts his hand on the table and he says very calmly, I must ask, how many people know about the sanctuary?
These days, give me a moment to think on that. And she kind of stares at the ceiling for a moment and says, most of the people that knew about the sanctuary have died, and I don't know how many they would have told, but I imagine those we trusted with it would have kept it a secret. I would say around 20, perhaps. Most of them are people that are philanthropists and people who have been involved with the sanctuary, and their families have been involved and kind of kept us afloat over the years and have continued to do so.
And you have no worries. Sorry to cut you off and apologize, but you have no worries about any one of those people trying to steal the dragons for themselves, release them, control them.
Not really. I mean, most of the people would include the guild council and some noble families, but they wouldn't be able to really contain the dragons. I'm assuming a few other people that I don't know about would have heard about it here and there, but it is impossible to tell that number. As far as people who know it still exists and that there are still people that live here, I would say maybe 20 people total. The number of people that knows that there are dragons here now, however, that is much, much smaller. I imagine perhaps the guild council, the people in this room, and Jess, perhaps, what is that wizard's name? And she kind of motions at Lenora, and Lenora's smile falls for just a moment, and she says, Mr. Winfear. Yes, he is aware. Yes, that one. He would know as well, but I don't think we have too much to worry from him. At least I hope not. He's not much of one for conflict.
Let's not go off the deep end and believe that just. We don't know exactly what his plans would be either. However, I will state that if the time does come around that things get out of hand, do you need help, and someone does try to grab the dragons and keep them for themselves, you do have. Zeroka kind of looks around the room, not really wanting to speak for everyone, but he does say, just know that you can call on me if things go awry.
That is a very kind offer. I hope that I will not have to take you up on that. But it is very heartening to know that that is an option where the need to arise. Thank you. And she gives you a very warm smile.
Ironically enough, good old fashioned stabby times are what we excel in. So, ironically enough, that part is more in our wheelhouse.
Well, I do hope it doesn't come to that. There are quite a few wards that have been around, and we have strengthened them over. It has been quite boring here, honestly, without dragons for the last 250 years, so there hasn't been much else to do except mess with and learn the wards and how to strengthen them and things like that. I am quite capable myself with magic, but it is good to know that there is that option. It's very comforting.
Well, if the situation deteriorates that badly, yeah, you can call. I do believe we have done a lot to rescue these dragons, and would hate to see something happen to them when they should theoretically be safe.
Well, let us hope that nothing that calamitous happens while I'm still around. I am the last line of defense, and if something were to be more than what I could handle, I'm not sure it would be anything you would be able to handle. But the backup would be nice.
And
Gran
over here
takes a
talking
long sip
so
of her
like
tea.
big game. I'm excited, but Xander still in his Dragon Messiah guys reach over and just kind of like place like still holding the stick in one hand. Will kind of place a hand on the table, kind of towards Gran, and just be like, "Dragon Messiah always has your back."
Gran faces him and says, "You're going to need to change that name, because if there were an actual Dragon Messiah, I would know about it."
He kind of like, it makes like a shh. At first, he kind of like, makes a motion towards the mango and pineapple, and then is like, "Wait, you can't fucking see what I'm doing." But it's just like, "I'm the Dragon Messiah to the ones who need him." He kind of says, like, in like a way to kind of be like, "Just go with it. It works."
Mango, Mango and Pineapple are kind of looking at you like, "Yeah, uh-huh," as they're snacking. And Gran raises an eyebrow. "Right, perhaps missionary would be a better word."
Bracing.
Damn, ooh.
No.
If you had seen it, I was
I'm sorry.
She's like 750 years old.
I am saying that. Kaylin is not saying that.
that old.
Age is a number. Yes, you are correct.
Yeah, Grant, like, you all know elves live to maybe 750 years ish, is like an old fucking elf, and she looks that old, if not older. Like, you are surprised she is upright and not just in fucking hospice, but she seems to be still kicking and talking
just
shit.
completely just decides to stop beating around the bush here, and it's just like, "So, Gran, you've been talking this big game, and then just sipping your tea. How powerful are you? Like, real talk."
Powerful enough for that to be a horrible idea.
Or anything like that. I'm just legitimately curious. I mean, if you're the last line of defense for these dragons, I mean, be able to know how to sing it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
There are very few mages out there that would be able to best me in a battle of magic, but I have not really had any need to duel in a very long time. I would say Golemov could probably beat me, but there probably aren't that many people in the world stronger than me. Or at least when I was in my prime, but I believe I could still hold my own were a real threat to surface. At least, probably through the end of the year, and then I won't
so
be
sure
here.
that this is your like last year in this realm.
Well, I am very, very
So,
old.
like, what's stopping you? I mean, but you've lived this long, so I mean, what's stopping you from continuing?
Well, I am staying around long enough to see dragons once again at the sanctuary, but soon there will be no real need for me. I do have a limited sense of what is going to happen in the future, a little bit of divination, you might say, and it is what it is. I have prepared myself for many years now.
That is, it's both got both an honor and a shame. I would love to be able to see you at you see your skills and stuff in work, but at the same time, I understand that at this point in your life, to probably see such skills would probably mean that you would have some great distress upon us. So, that of you.
That is true. I could probably cast some pretty powerful magic, but then I would need quite a few naps after that. Most of the magic I could cast would probably hurt the sanctuary, though, so I would rather not.
Talking that good shit.
You see Lenora is just kind of sitting there, like, nodding every now and again, just seeming to be 100% on the same page as Gran. Like, yeah, no, Lenora seems to just, know that what Gran is saying is the truth, like, and just being like, "Yep, this is true. This is true." Yep.
I turned the dick and balls into a rocket car. I hope that's okay.
So it's a. I saw that. I was like trying to focus, and I'm just like, what the fuck is he doing with this penis?
It's a rocket car now. Anyway. Ender will just kind of take in everything that was just said and everything, and then he'll sip his tea.
Is Miz just chowing down like the little monster he is?
Oh gosh, is he devouring all the snacks?
He's too busy devouring the snacks to talk right now.
I said a few words. Didn't you hear it?
Oh, it didn't come through for me.
Oh, sorry. I guess I was muted. I guess I'm sorry. Yeah, just pretend Miss didn't say a word and he was eating the whole time.
Xander hasn't been snacking because he's been so interested in this conversation. He finally turns to grab something to snack on, and the table's empty. It's already been eaten, and I'm just like, he's just like, what the fuck?
And Kaylin just kind of looks Pineapple in the eye and just takes a piece of food like she's gonna toss it, and just like ready, like a hibachi restaurant, and just.
Oh yeah, he totally into this, like a fucking intelligent dog. Just snaps it out of midair. Are you actually throwing it to him?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely just snatches it out of midair. And it's like very excited about this. You have just invented a new game for them, and Pineapple kind of crowds over and it's like, me too. Like both of them up on their back legs now.
Caitlin just takes some of the snacks that she had, because Miss is at the table. She knows what's about to happen, so she pulls
she
a little bit over there.
Snag a bunch. Yeah, Lenora
and so
just kind of
Kaylin
looks at the table and she goes back into the kitchen to start preparing some more.
Yes.
And Kaylin is like, all right, Pineapple, your turn. Toss.
Yeah. Pineapple also snatches it, and Mango at the last second kind of tries to push him out of the way, but it has been consumed.
Xander will kind of smile
they are
and laugh
loving
at this and be
game.
like, Frole, you want to get in on this? If he says picking up some kind of small snack.
I know you moved him
yells it
over
across
there,
the room.
but Frole has been sitting on the sofa. Frihole looks over at you and just kind of gives you this look like, who the fuck are you trying to talk to?
I feel like all of these
just lays his head back down
animals.
to try to go back to sleep.
Pineapple and Mango are dogs. Frijole's a cat.
Frijole's had a rough time, though. You can see he is still very, very skinny. Still looks a little sickly. Doing a lot better than when you rescued him, but that was less than a couple weeks ago.
Frihole is the one we say
so
from the
he
camp.
is still.
Yeah, that was. I
chilling.
forgot that.
Yeah, correct. And he was on death's door when you rescued him. Also, he's a black dragon, not the most sociable. More
for me then. And Xander will eat the snack and turn back towards the. How long are we staying here before we head back? Is that kind of up to us, or?
Pretty much. So essentially, how it works is they've got another teleportation circle to get you out. But that is up to you when you want to go. Because I know two of you have NPCs that you have concerns for, I'm sure.
Oh, that's a rocket car. Anyways,
Kaylin will just kind of go to Lenora in the kitchen and just be like, hey, I don't know if this is rude or not, but you don't seem too fond of Fred's.
Yeah, what the fuck's up with that?
Would it be too forward of me to ask why? He seems like a mostly, I don't want to say harmless because he is a wizard. Let's go with benign.
Right,
Did you literally just make grr sounds?
Lenora's face goes kind of blank, and it is very hard to figure out what she's thinking. And she just sets down the knife she was using to cut up some fruit with, and seems to be thinking on that for a moment. And she says, he is the type of person that does not always think his actions all the way through. Usually he has everyone else's best intentions at heart, but things that he has done have not always benefited everyone. He has been working on it, and I recognize that, but due to some of the things that he has done in the past, I have a difficult time wanting to be close to him. And I wish I could be a little bit more specific with you, but it is not really my story to tell.
Oh no, do not worry. I am not that level of nosy. It was just one of those. Okay, so if we have dragons abound the next time, and theoretically a situation that happened with Flamingo and Pineapple happens again, where you show up and he shows up, we can facilitate, not having to push his presence upon you, if that makes sense. I can understand holding on to salty grudges for a minute because somebody has done something that you don't agree with, and she just kind of turns and glares at Miz and then turns back. I can understand that. No, I did not mean to be nosy. It was just so that way we know in the future how to facilitate theoretically having the two of you in the same place, and not. It's the case maybe.
Make a insight check. Make an insight check for me. Just Caitlin.
Oh boy, howdy. I'm using my new fire shiny math rocks from Dispel Dice because it just came in a little while ago.
Cheat dice.
19. I mean, the first roll I did with it was a 20, so
Cheat dice.
no. Here I rolled a 19.
She is looking you in the eyes when you turn back to face her, and just for a moment, there's a look like she knows more and wants to tell you more, and there is a look of almost pity on her face, and it's a little confusing to Kaylin, I'm sure, because the pity seems to be just for an instant directed at Kaylin, not at the thought of Fredben or anything like that, but like she knows something else, and she says, yes, that should be fine. He has not done anything specifically to me, but I appreciate the sentiment. And she gives you a smile again, but it doesn't seem to be as sincere as she normally is.
Kaylin tips an imaginary hat. And just I'm sorry if I brought up bad memories for you. But it was just you're here, so now we know in the future that if the option is given to, if we don't have to push his presence upon you, I think we can facilitate not doing that. So.
Well, we are both
That was all.
adults, so we can. It is what it is. Whatever's best for the dragons. And she
we
brings over the
we
more
can do
snacks.
that. Kaylin just kind of grabs a piece off of the platter and Mango, go long. And tosses it.
Mango goes long.
From downtown.
Yeah. As soon as Mango figures out what go long means, yeah, Mango is ready.
And Kaylin will also take another piece, and put it on the sofa next to Frijole, and just look at Mango and go, "That is not for you." And just puts it down next to Frijole, and then just leaves it and just goes and back to the table. It's like, here's yours. I'm not going to interact with you because I understand wanting to be alone with people. So she just puts it down, goes next to the table.
Frijole half stands up and looks like, when you approach a sleeping cat and it's very offended by it and kind of like half stands up. That's kind of what Frijole does. And as you set it down, he looks like he wants to hiss at you, but he kind of coughs instead. But he does sniff at and then take the snack and just start munching.
as Kaylin walks by everybody. Victory! and he continues just grabbing snacks to eat at Mango and Pineapple.
while Kaylin and Laura were talking, Xander would actually kind of turn back towards Gran, and you said with the insights we rolled earlier, Gran seemed like to have like the dragon's best interest at heart and all that.
Yes, with everything that everyone has rolled, both Lenora and Gran seem to be pretty straightforward, very much on the same page. Nothing that one of them has said has the others seemed even a little bit surprised at. Like they're both just discussing
Xander
everyday
will actually kind of look over towards Gran and just be like, kind of not whispering. Everyone else could hear it or everything, but he's kind of in like kind of a lower voice to be like, also, what did she say her actual name was when we first met her?
Missin. Yes, Missyn.
Miss.
I was so close.
Gran, whichever you'd prefer. I did have kind of an inquiry for you, and was wondering, with you being as powerful of a spellcaster as you are and everything like that, I was wondering if there's any way I could possibly talk to you privately at some point, if that's okay. Thank you, Gran.
You can just call me Gran. Everyone else does. We can discuss that later then, I'm sure.
Okay.
I know that you will be back here
Xander will
later.
have this look of like kind of wanting to not wait, but also being like, okay, like that works. I suppose it's not necessarily urgent. It's
Unless
just,
this is a more urgent matter.
No, I just haven't. It's something it's an issue I've had for a while now, and I feel like you may be one of the only people that I honestly probably trust to take care of it.
He has performance anxiety. Who knew?
I was gonna make a joke. I was gonna be like, "There is a pill for that." No,
Thank you.
she does not say that. She does not say that.
I didn't know it came in pill form.
She does not suggest he go look for Viagra. No, she does not. She sighs and says, "Well, why don't you just take a walk with me and we will head back over to the greenhouse, and perhaps by the time we end up even making it over to the teleportation circle, the rest of your group will be ready to leave anyways.
Sure,
it will take us some time."
Good.
And she slowly gets up.
Stand up as well, and at this point he's dropped his disguised self and is back into his normal appearance, and to start assisting her as they.
Okay. What I would kind of like to do here is have like a separate session, so that you are not constrained by time, or we can message what is discussed back and forth, just so we can get to the rest of the stuff, and then also you don't feel rushed with your conversation.
But yeah, that's
because I
fine.
have a pretty good inkling of what you're going to talk to her about. Okay. Yeah, so you escort Gran on out, and the rest of you are left with the dragons and Lenora.
Actually, me
if
and
there's
Gran,
anything else you want
jump
to
into the rocket
discuss, ask, etc., etc. You jump in the rocket car.
Nope.
I mean, what are you guys really
don't like that
back there?
Don't like that. Kaylin is already feeding the tiny demon children. So
Miz is inhaling the food on the table.
I mean, Xander, is it really a secret conversation, or are you trying to?
I sorry, people start talking.
Is it really a secret conversation? I said, is it really a secret conversation?
She's a powerful mage, dude. I'm gonna take what I can get. All right.
There's so many things I want to say right now.
Power is sexy. What can I say?
She ain't got no teeth, so
she's got some experience.
Wow. This is ironically enough most sexually charged session we have ever freaking had. It is with the oldest woman we could
Excuse you, I said no
find.
porn.
We're drawing
You're right,
dicks in her house and dick
You really
rockets.
are.
Okay, to be fair, Abby started it because she brought it to our attention. She
100%.
said, "Don't draw dicks in the sanctuary," and we were like, "So draw dicks in the sanctuary."
You know,
Wait, that's an option?
it's better than
Shit.
doing drugs at the sanctuary like the previous group did. This is fine. This is so one of the the previous characters, his mom, well, like stepmom, I guess, was a very old Firbolg druid who was very much a hippie and had made special cookies to send home with him. And I was like, you know what? Roll for it to see what's in these, and it was drugs.
They didn't give it to Gran, did they?
No.
Oh.
Wait, did they?
She'd probably be the main one going, "Hell yeah!"
Gran probably had some, but Lenora ended up being the babysitter, I think. I mean, the whole party didn't have it, but enough of them. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Is it
but
fun?
yeah, more or less. Was there anything you all wanted to do or discuss before? I'm assuming you have other stuff to do in character. Kaylin's got a girlfriend to get back to.
Unfortunately, the one thing Kaylin would want to ask about is the one thing that would have no indication of
gums,
being
dude.
tied to dragons.
Okay.
Jesus Christ, man.
Jesus.
Zoroka. What's her name? Oh no, is she does she seem like she's a magic user, like wizard?
We did see her teleport, right?
You would
Maybe
think so. She, you did see her teleport. So you would have seen her. Well, you saw her teleport in. I guess she was probably holding a wand or some sort of spellcasting focus. I have not put that much thought into what her focus is. But she did teleport in.
A dragon tooth.
That's fine. Just for quick point's sake, Zoroka is looking for the level 1 spell mage armor, and he wanted to see if she has a scroll for it that he can buy or anything.
Yeah. Lenora is going to think on that for a moment and say, I'll go check in the sitting room. If we have it, it is probably among all of the old books and things in there. The teleportation circle for you to go home is also in there, so we could go ahead and just kill 2 birds with 1 stone if you would like.
I appreciate it.
So she is going to head out the same direction that Gran and Xander would have headed out to.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Sorry. All right, fine. Got it.
Sorry.
For fuck's sake, dude.
You gotta have a focus, all right? Like
I don't think Lenora would drive a Ford, okay? I know.
Ha.
I imagine she would... with the number of dragons she's going to eventually acquire, depending on how well you do your jobs, it'd be more like a bus at some point. She's just like, okay, I'm going to adopt another one, I guess. But yeah. So I'm assuming everyone kind of heads out at that point, unless you all wanted to continue talking.
Kaylin gives Pineapple and Mango a bunch of head scritches as the golden retriever puppies that they are masquerading as.
Yeah, essentially.
And specifically make sure to leave a little bit, drop a little bit more next to Frijole before she leaves. And what would she want to say to him? No, as she puts it down and just goes, "It only gets better from here. You've already had worse," and she just leaves.
He just kind of eyeballs you, but does not say anything. You know baby dragons can talk, but he has not said a single peep yet.
Well, she said it to him. Well, she said that phrasing, said it to him in Draconic. As she just leaves, but she leaves the food behind.
Yeah,
and she just
he
turns
seems
to
to
the Mango and
understand.
Pineapple and just goes, "It's like 2 of you. No, you let him have his."
They look a little disappointed, but sit down and just watch you leave instead. But yes.
Kayla just looks at Lenora. I think I found a new bribery tool for them.
Yes, I do have them on a little bit of a specialized diet so they get all of the nutrition they need, so maybe not too much. Different dragons have different
It can't
dietary
do this
needs.
all the time.
That's right. Let's keep it as just a treat. I wouldn't want them getting too big either. So you all head to the house that is attached to the greenhouse, where Xander and Gran already are in what they call the sitting room. It's kind of a big, almost library-ish room lined with bookshelves, and there's a big coffee table in the center, a bunch of chairs, a big comfy sofa, desk in the corner, and a big fireplace, and then a door that goes into the rest of the building as well. Gran and Xander would have already been there, kind of wrapping up their conversation, and Lenora comes in and starts looking through the bookshelves. You also do see in the bottom left corner, there is a big teleportation circle. And especially Zeroka would recognize it. It is one that will take you back to the Dragon Glen main teleportation hub. Lenora looks for a few minutes, kind of sifting through a handful of different spell scrolls and things like that. You see most of the books on the bookshelves are very old, like hundreds of years old. They're mostly books about dragons. Some of them seem to be written by dragons. A lot of them appear to be journals that have names on the spines that look like they would probably be draconic names. So possibly journals written by dragons. But she eventually finds what she's looking for and hands Zeroka 2 scrolls of mage armor.
I look at her and I tell her, I'm sorry, I only needed one. I appreciate the offer.
Well,
Unless one of you wanted one.
Shit, I'll take it. Fuck.
Is that the rest of the party?
I thought mage armor only worked if you weren't already wearing armor.
it boosts.
Correct.
I believe it boosts your AC to your Dex +2 or something.
Yeah, if you're not wearing armor.
Mm-hmm.
Not +2, so it's based on your dex modifier.
Oh, sorry, I was basing
Yeah.
that off of one of my characters.
So 13 plus your dexterity modifier.
So if that makes your AC higher than it is with armor, then yeah, it's useful.
Kaylin will dip her head. I appreciate the thoughts, but I will leave that for
Obviously, I don't.
the others.
I mean, obviously, I do wear armor, but I mean, could cast it on somebody else.
Yeah, you could take
in a
it.
pinch. So yeah, I mean, not.
Sure.
Yep.
Give it to you.
Lenora walks over to the teleportation circle and motions towards it and says, well, this will take you back to the Dragon Glen main teleportation hub. I know Gran has said that we will see you again in the future, and you do have a way to get here, so let us know if we can help with anything else. You are doing everything in your power
never had
to
friends
help the
before. I'm just
dragons,
kidding.
so that makes you friends of ours now. She gives you all a very warm smile.
Neat. Well, let us hope that our next meeting does not need to be nearly as fraught.
I hope so as well. Be safe out there, and let us know if you need anything.
No. I was about to go, well.
I mean, I think you guys have a sending
miss
stone to
100
Lenora now, right?
Did she give us one?
She'll go ahead and hand one to Kaylin, yeah.
Neat. Kaylin will again tip the imaginary hat. Take her hand, kiss the back of it. Oh, I was about to go milady, and I was like, no, too far. And just until we meet again.
All right. Anything else before you all teleport? Kaylin has jumped in and yeeted herself back to
Xander
Dragonland.
will thank Gran for her time, and will then, as he kind of walks over to the circle, will Give Lenora like a slight bow and nod, small curtsy, as before he steps over and he turns around with his back to the portal and spreads his arms and
Yeets himself
falls
into the
straight
portal.
backwards into the portal and teleports.
Please tell me that's how he lands. Please.
You land
That is how
on your back in the middle of the Dragon Glen teleportation hub,
Feels good to be back.
teleportation circle, and all of the other people mulling around are just like, what the fuck?
And Kaylin just kind of turns and looks at him, and it's just like,
And I want to be clear. Stick
I
in hand.
leave you alone for literally a minute. What the? Okay. No one cares about your
I
stick.
assume. Lenora looks at Ms. and Zeroka and says, well, I look forward to meeting you again and hopefully learning more about you.
Miz nods his head and says likewise.
Soroka nods his head.
You all are yeeted back to the Dragon Glen teleportation hub, and you two
Would you
see
say
Xander indeed lying on his back,
I
stick in hand.
stick to the landing.
Still there?
Yep.
That's a shitty pun. I'll
Damn.
take it.
Pop that in the puns. Yeah. So you are free to do whatever you want.
That's
what do you want to do?
probably where Xander's going. As well.
You can turn
Kaylin
in
is
the
probably going to go to the
mission.
hospital.
No.
Yeah.
To the hospital.
I'm mad we all just.
All right.
One brain cell.
Hey guys, what did Batman tell Robin before they got in the car?
Where did it go? Notes.
Get in the car.
Oh no.
that's
What?
the joke.
What the fuck? Right. So you all go to a building a few blocks from the guild HQ, where it is still a nice part of town, but it's a little bit further from the hustle and bustle of the teleportation hub. That is a little bit closer to guild HQ. It's a very easy to miss building, nondescript, that you can't tell at first if it's domestic or commercial type building, but the numbers on the door are correct from what Jess would have told you. Inside, a little old lady carrying a basket of crisp white towels sees you and warmly greets you. But it seems like she was already expecting you and motions to another silver-haired woman, a dwarven woman, who comes out of a closed door holding a clipboard. She's very businesslike and takes you downstairs to another floor that seems to be a little bit smaller than the top main ward, and it's much quieter. While you would expect a basement type area to be cold and musky, it all feels very crisp and clean. And while cool, there's no humid chill in the air that tends to come with basements, and it smells faintly of soap, if nothing else. And she takes you past. Let me go ahead and boop you over to the map. Because I made
Excuse
one,
you.
so it's
You
What?
ask permission before you boop. You ask permission before you boop. That's what we were teaching the kids.
I'm the
before you-
DM. I'm gonna boop you. I'm gonna boop you. If I say you're booped, you're booped.
I'm
I
gonna
was
remind you of
assuming
that during
consent
con.
here. I'm in charge here. All right. Like it or you're gonna have fun whether you like it or not. She takes you past several comfortable looking sofas and some doors that open into otherwise empty patient rooms, mostly similar, though one has an operating table in it, and quietly knocks on the last door before opening it. You see both beds are occupied, with Lila being in the first and Aitha in the second. Lila seems to be fitfully sleeping with a cool cloth on her forehead as she shifts around but doesn't wake up. She's been cleaned up, but there is still a dark color surrounding the bandaged wounds on her neck. But it looks much improved from when you saw her last. You do see, however, under the thin blanket that's on top of her, that she has loose padded restraints kind of strapping her wrists to the sides of the bed. She is able to move a little bit, but not much, and you do see that her hands are balled into fists. Aitha is now in the same kind of nondescript linen pajamas as Lila, but with the blankets pulled down further, and she appears to be awake, and she is propped up on some pillows. A large bandage covers the long wound on her face that went from almost her temple down to the side of her chin, but the skin surrounding it seems less gray than the skin surrounding Lila's bandage and wound, like hers is not quite as bad. Her eyes still seem a little gray, like there's just a little bit of a gray tinge to them. She seems to be a little agitated, and sweat is glistening on her forehead. You do see one wrist is very loosely strapped to the side of her bed, but the restraint is long enough to allow her a lot of freedom, and she doesn't seem to really care about it. Across from her, on the other side of her bed, is a large Loxodon woman
Oh
who's
shit!
wearing robes and
What is this?
ornamentations that signify her as a cleric with good standing in the Temple of Bahamut, who is, one of the main two dragon gods. You know, there's Bahamut and Tiamat, and she seems to be a Bahamut cleric. Few of you may or may not have seen her around the
Mama.
guild at different times visiting Golemov and may recognize her as his wife, Onu.
He does not say that.
She has a
Damn.
reputation. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
boy.
Oh my gosh. Okay. She has a reputation.
So glad I introduced this to him. Guild Daddy and Guild Mama.
She has a reputation of being one of the most gentle clerics in Dragonglen, whose main focus is healing both physically and mentally, and her presence is almost always a soothing and welcoming one. She seems to be writing down something on a clipboard that almost looks like a child-sized clipboard compared to her very large Loxodon hands, but she does pause and stand up when you enter, and she says, welcome. Kaylin, I presume. And she gives you a very warm smile that does reach her big, dark eyes. She is a little bit shorter than Golemov. She is about 7 foot, and he is a little over 7 foot. I'm assuming Kaylin was probably in front.
Well, the thing is, I can't move my token.
What the fuck?
So, I had to respond to Ian. So.
Oh my gosh.
So, yes, Kaylin is in fact the first person in the room. And she goes, Lady Ono,
no.
I thank you so much for.
Oh no.
Oh no.
It's fine. I literally, if you notice, I give almost all of my NPCs 2-syllable names, no longer, because I know how much they get fucked up and they're harder to remember. And 3 letters. 3 letters.
The thing is, you said that right before he did Guild Mommy, and then you didn't repeat it, and I was like, shit.
Oh, sorry. Yes, that is Onu, ONU. And yeah.
Cool. Lady Onu, I thank you kindly for giving your personal attention to Aitha. Has she been better? She was very much determined to protect me before in a way that was detrimental to her health.
It is very nice to officially meet you. I am Onu, and yes, you have come at a much better time. I do need to discuss a few things with the other caregivers as Lila is asleep, and Aitha was just talking about how much she needed to speak with you, but she seems to be doing much better and hasn't tried to hurt anyone in a while. She gives you kind of a almost nervous little smile and glances over at both Lila and Aitha. They are both stable, but Lila has remained quite agitated, so I ask you to keep your voices down and allow her to rest. But
Or she can leave.
I will give you some privacy.
Xander's like, so, like, what's the deal? Like, he's like, how are they going to be better? Or like, what is? He seems concerned.
Well, it is a little difficult to tell because this is new. This is not something any of us have ever really had to deal with before, and we have very limited information on their conditions. It seems to be some sort of necrotic, almost an infection. Lesser restoration has helped some, and we are waiting on someone who can come and cast greater restoration. I have been told that that would probably clear the rest of it up. We just don't have anyone here that has all of the materials needed because it is not a cheap spell to cast, as I'm sure you are aware. But between time
Can we help
and
with that? Oh no.
Oh, we lost Ian again. So I
Oh,
just
for
saw your
fuck's-
message.
Right?
I mean, who does not want a big, strong woman? Hell yeah. Oh, gosh. Okay. Ian, are you back?
Yeah, I did it again.
Again.
Ian, stop closing your tabs.
I'm just like swapping between stuff, and I'm like, okay, like I was just reading a message right then on Discord. I was like, all right, I read that, and I just closed it without even thinking. I was like, no, what am I doing?
Jeez. Okay. But yes, between time and that, if you have something that we could use to cast Greater Restoration, I might be able to go ahead and try to cast it. I forgot what it needs. I know it needs a big fat diamond. A diamond dust worth at least 100 gold.
Which the spell consumes.
Do you have specifically diamond dust?
Oh, we can.
No, but right? We can go buy a diamond and then go get diamond dust.
Yeah. Well, if
Kaylin is just like, cool. Hold, please. I'm going to go facilitate this. Oh my god. And is going to turn to Xander. If you give me 100 gold pieces, I will also facilitate. Hopefully, getting enough for your friend as well. Because quite frankly, unfortunately, I'm doing this for mine, not yours. So if you
understandable. Unfortunately, at this exact moment, we haven't counted it. We haven't been told how much we made from the place, right?
Nope,
Bitch,
you
you
have
don't
not
save
had a
up
chance
money?
to sit down and sort through all the coinage yet.
It's
gonna be more than enough,
Yeah.
but you have not had a chance.
I have 76 gold currently. So yeah, I mean, I guess I'll take 24 out of whatever I'm given later, and we'll give that to.
hold on. I need. You said you had 74.
I have 76.
76.
Yeah.
Cool. Just she's like, cool. Give me 25, and we can make up the difference later. Because I have enough to do 200.
Okay, sure. Yeah, he'll do that then.
Yeah, we'll make up the difference later. And Kaylin is going to, considering that Aitha is an artificer, would she actually know someone who would have diamond dust, or at least somebody who would have diamonds?
You imagine so? You also have a wizard that probably has diamonds.
I also, real quick, just want a small little roleplay thing. As Xander hands you the 25, he gives you a smile that he has not given Kaylin this entire game. Like the most sincere thank you smile that he has ever given Kaylin.
Aww.
And she just kind of looks at him and nods and is like, I get it. But but it's like, I know the city more than you. You mean Fredbin?
I feel like Zeroka has found gems at some point.
Nope. Diamonds.
I thought I gave you diamonds at some point.
See, the thing is, I would have, if he would have had, I believe he would have said he had. And since he didn't speak up, I assumed that he didn't.
Yeah, so if it helps, when you are able to sort out your stuff, it was going to be about 900 gold split between everyone.
Oh my god. So you're talking about when we found from the bandit camp, I think you mean, right?
Yeah, I don't remember if you found anything from that, but you were going to end up with, once you sort through what was fake, just shiny shit, and what is real, 900 gold worth of coins in different denominations, and about 300 gold worth of precious gems. But it is all kind of mixed up. You get the feeling contributions were made to this hoard, and they were faked. You're not sure why or whom, but it was yeah, we're totally contributing. See?
I think I said this last game, but Xander definitely takes like a coin purse full of fake money.
Noted.
Yeah, no, Kaylin is just going to be like, yeah, no. And she's going to go off and find the diamond dust.
Aitha is going to try to grab your hand if you are close enough. And just give you the saddest look and say, "Are you going already?"
And she just kind of pats her hand. I'll be back. You see this? You see Stickman over here? He's going to explain to you his stick, and you're going to explain to him how cursed it is. And I will be back before you're finished because I know how long-winded you are. And she leans forward and kisses her forehead, and then just promptly leaves. It's like, the sooner I leave, the sooner I can get back.
I want to say it is like a switch is flipped anytime someone mentions the stick. He goes from sweet old Bilbo Baggins to reaching for the ring at Rivendell, like that. Like as soon as someone mentions the stick, you'd be like, "Oh, thank you, I appreciate it." Don't talk about my stick.
Oh gosh. Honestly, I think you could go the 2 blocks back to Guild HQ, and I'm sure they would have it if you have the gold to swap out for Diamond Dust.
Yep, I 100% have the gold to swap out.
Yep, you've got that. So, I would say it would take at least 10-15 minutes to walk the couple of blocks back there, exchange, and then get back. So, what's everyone doing in that time? Onu would have kind of left to give you privacy.
Xander actually would have asked her Onu one more thing before Onu left, and been like, "Okay, I've also been very distracted by this amazing stick, and I'm just now really starting to feel the pain in my face." He points to the fucking 3 gashes going down his face from where he got scratched by the Lamia.
Oh shit, he did.
And it's got that same dark shit, and he's like, "Should I be concerned?" Like,
I completely forgot about that because Lenora would have done something about that for you. Shit. Oh gosh. I kind of want to retcon
that's fine. If you want to
here.
retcon Lenora doing it.
Are you all okay with me retconning? And did anyone else that I forgot about get hit by the Lamia?
Well, Kaylin got hurt, but I don't think it was by the Lamia specifically.
Okay. So number 1, she would have cast Mass Cure Wounds on all of you, and I forgot that she would have done that. So everyone take 18 HP worth of healing if you had gotten hurt.
Okay.
Nice.
Yes. And then Lenora, once you had gotten back into the kitchen and everyone was like sitting down, she would have gone ahead and cast Greater Restoration on Xander. And I need everyone, I know we're retconning, but I need everyone to make another perception check.
That one actually posted. Good.
Ooh.
Soroka.
17, 7. Oh no, I was hoping Zeroka would have been the highest one on this because he would have been the one most likely to realize what was happening. Oh, Kaylin with a 19 and Xander with a 17. You 2 are the only ones that notice, like, so when she cast it, she had a spellcasting focus in her hand, like, we'll say it's a crystal, but you 2 recognize the spell Greater Restoration, and obviously, as you are doing now, you know it requires 100 GP worth of diamond dust. There was no diamond dust anywhere when she cast this.
Intriguing.
But I think she would have immediately launched back into other conversation and scurried off to get snacks, etc. So, with that perception check, you would have definitely noticed this and how quick she was to just breeze right past it.
Interesting. Hang on, I got another gift for this.
Oh, fuck.
Right.
Sake.
So, Onu looks very worriedly at your face and sighs and says, "That is probably going to need some greater
Oh
restoration.
no, if they,
well.
I thought we retconned that it has been healed already.
Well,
So,
oh yeah,
so yeah,
never mind.
He would have.
I
He
just
would have
said
never
that.
asked
I just said
if,
that.
if
Yeah.
that was the case.
Yeah, you're right. But for flavor,
could have
if you
asked
want
her
him to
about-
retain those, yeah. For flavor, if you want him to maintain those
Yeah,
scars, he
I-
can totally have scars left
I
over.
do want the scar.
Hell yeah, you've now got scars on your face, and they're cool looking. Right. Okay. We'll say Onu is still kind of there. Maybe she stepped in the hallway and she's writing something on the clipboard, but is there anything the three of you who are remaining want to do as Aitha kind of watches Kaylin leave and then looks over at you three and just narrows her eyes?
Xander just kind of like this is a. I hear this is like a door going into the bathroom. I assume. He just kind of
Yes.
leans up against, like, close to that door, like against the little part of the wall right here over Lila's bed, and starts just very, very, very lightly singing in Dwarvish.
Okay. Aitha's eyes settle on Ms. and you see her start to move like she's gonna get up and then realize her arm is still strapped to the side of the bed, like the little metal bar there. And she looks frustrated and just stares him down with just this look of, I would really like to hurt you.
All right, Miz, this is your chance. Go over there and just stab her. I'm just kidding.
She's tied up. I could do it.
I would appreciate you not trying to kill my my girlfriend.
If I do it blindfolded, then I can't be blamed.
Don't
You would just blindfold yourself and then stab her and be like, not my
He's
fault.
like, I was just playing Pin the Tail the Donkey.
Oh,
all right?
no.
Like,
My knife fell. Where did it go? No, Miss is just gonna look at her with a blank face, not really say a word, and he's just gonna go over here and sit down. He's just kind of like lay down here in the corner.
Aitha is going to kind of glare at him and say, and are you another person at the guild trying to hide things? Kill witnesses? Is that what you are doing? Is that your goal? Just Aitha is saying that to Ms.
Miz,
Oh, you
Miz
left the room completely.
left.
Okay.
So she's like yelling out in the hallway. I know you're hiding things.
Do I hear this? I mean, do I hear this as she's saying this?
She's gonna direct that at Zaroka then. You can tell she is
Okay.
still kind of affected. So she's asking if Zaroka is another person trying to hide things.
He's just staring at her like he's not answering her.
I see you are hiding things and not wanting to answer my questions. What about the egg? What happened to that egg? I'm sure you know what happened. Were you not with the group that took it? Why?
Quick question.
Can this be the moment that Kaylin comes back in? She's just like, nope.
So this is the red-haired one, right? That's
Yes.
Yeah.
So Lila on the left
okay.
she's kind of like fitfully sleeping. Aitha is awake. That is Kaylin's girlfriend, and she is restrained with one arm, kind of like it's one of those like soft leather cuffs or whatever that they give to like mental patients, kind of. But just one arm.
In the same time, Mrs. Xander in the room with me, right?
Ms. left the room.
Ms. left the room.
Xander.
So
Xander.
it's yeah,
Okay.
so it's Xander basically.
So right where Ms. is when she asks that question, Soroka doesn't say anything. He just goes and sits on where the sofa where Ms. was going, and he just like closes his eyes and crosses his
God
arms.
damn. Xander will just very, very briefly stop his singing and look up at what's her name? Aitha. Kind of look
Aitha?
over to Aitha and just be like, the egg is being taken care of. And we'll just won't say anything further and we'll just go back to lightly singing in Dwarvish.
I know there is more to it. And she reaches over to the little bedstand, takes a little glass that's like half full of water, and just chucks it at Xander.
Can I make a dex check to just catch it? Like
Yeah, give me a dexterity saving throw.
Cool. 15.
Yeah, you're able to catch it, and very little water spills out of it. It was not the hardest throw. It was kind of like
Xander doesn't even like look up from his singing, like he's still looking down at Lila singing. He just catches it, takes a sip, and puts it like down.
As Kaylin is returning, you just hear Aitha saying, "I think the whole guild is full of liars."
Xander is just like not even acting like she's talking.
Is this the point where she walks in?
Yep.
Is this the point where she walks in? And Kaylin just kind of walks in and raises an eyebrow and is like, "Do I ask you what you do every day? No, do me the same credit.
She's
If you haven't been told, it's because you shouldn't know. Quite frankly, I shouldn't know, but we tripped into it anyway."
quite a few accusations since you've been gone, but I think she's still kind of feeling it.
Unfortunately, this is also just kind of who she is as a person. She's just very, very curious about everything. It is literally as bad as it sounds. And did Kaylin pass by Onu as she Kaylin just dumps the 2 bags of diamond dust in her hands as she walks by, as she walks into the room, and just like sees Miz and Soroka sitting outside, and Xander in the room is just like, "I don't want to know. I really don't want to know."
Xander will offer her water.
Kaylin will grab the water, and Kaylin will grab the water and just chug it back. And
Aitha kind of like lunges forward and says, "That might be poisoned."
Did you not just throw it at him?
Drink it first, so like.
Well, no, it's like, unfortunately, she actually kind of trusts Xander. She kind of trusts Xander, so it's like Xander wouldn't literally like try to do such a thing at this very moment after Kaylin literally just got diamond dust for him. So it's just like he literally said, "You just threw. Did you poison it?"
I just want. And you see her expression soften, and she reaches out a hand to Kaylin.
Kaylin just holds her hand and just pulls her in, forehead to forehead. "You are helping by being quiet. We're going to fix you, and we're going to help. Everybody wins."
But I have questions.
You always have questions. You always have questions. Do I ask you about what you do at work every day? Do I ask you about the secret mission that you literally just went on?
Well,
respect me enough to trust that I know what I'm. Respect me enough to know that I am not telling you for a very good reason. Just like how I don't ask you about what you're doing, do not ask me about what I am doing, because you can get in trouble for that. And I do a lot of things to protect you, and this is one of those things.
Her eye just kind of twitches, and that is the moment that Onu walks over, sits down next on the other side of Aitha, and she's going to go ahead and cast Greater Restoration. But it is after 10 now. So I think what happens after that would be a good starting point for next week.
Oh boy, howdy.
Oh man, I made that sound real ominous, huh?
Yeah, it did.
What does or does not happen after she casts Greater Restoration? Find out next week on Dragon Ball Z. The gifts in chat.
Yep.
But yeah. We will stop there. Aitha's gonna have some fun stuff to talk to you about now that she, after everything that has happened, she does have questions, and whether or not they were because her brain was being affected, we'll find out. What could go wrong?
I want you to know I did an audible. I audibly went aw when you said she kind of trusts Xander. I was just like, that is the nicest thing.
Well, because literally it's like one of those, I got you, I get it. because both of us are really worried about our people right now. So I'll tell you what, I'm already going to go get the gold, the diamond does. It doesn't make sense for me to just be selfish about it. Give me the money. Fuck it. We'll even it out later. I got you. But it's like priorities. Kaylin will do for those who do for her. And once you have her trust like that, oh, she's got you. She's got you forever and a day. But the moment you lose that trust, it's like, oh no, you can go fuck yourself, and she'll be the first person to kick you off.
100% the same way, and like it's just never really clicked between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
This was a fun game. I liked this, and I'm very excited about you and I getting an aside at some point, Abby, to discuss what was said between Xander and
Granny.
Yes. We can schedule that and or just do it over messages. But yeah, with that, everyone say
Greg.
goodbye, and I'm gonna kick Craig out.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye, Craig.
How unfortunate. It looks like Gary couldn't complete the pizza trials and deliver the pizza to the Stab Brigade. Maybe the power of friendship could help. And in order to strengthen those bonds, perhaps you could go on over to our socials and give us a look, or send us an email at critsandgrits@gmail.com. Or go check out some of the people that have supported us so far. Becky, you can follow on Sugar Puns. Tithus, you can follow on twitch.tv/Tithus, or on Twitter at OldManStark. Kyler, you can follow on YouTube at Fishing After 5. Jess, you can follow on twitch.tv/JessPanda, or follow the Momoka on socials on MySpace, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. Jay, you can follow on twitch.tv/Rush918, and Ducky, you can follow on twitch.tv/DuckyPlease.